Alright guys, so I'm here at Flat Irons Tuning with John Cooley, who is my parts specialist here, the manager and runs Flat Irons, and we're going to talk about, right now, about the AP Racing brakes. These are one of the things I had listed in my top 5, and we're going to talk about more about the specifics about why the AP Racing brakes are a good option and why you guys should consider them and use them as well.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, just the starting point where we found them, and the thing that was interesting is it is really a motorsports based caliper. It comes from a motorsports background. It's not something that was designed for a street car that people were also tracking. And so some of the biggest differences are, like, the pad thickness is significantly more, even than like a stock Brembo would be for an STI. So you've got almost double the material, and that material gives you more life out of the pads. It also gives you a little bit more ability to keep the heat from getting to the calipers to create brake fade. And because it's a motorsports caliper and so many people are using this caliper and buying motorsports pad material for these calipers, the cost of the pads is much less. Like the same compound is much less than it would be for like an STI caliper. So that was kind of what drew us to it initially.
Absolutely, and I think I talked about that in my other video where we were price comparison, just doing a quick comparison of the compounds between what's available for the factory 4-pot Brembos, which I know are really popular to go to, versus what's common and what the prices are for the AP Racing brakes. I mean, even down to the 2-piece floating rotors, the cost to rebuild with AP Racing versus the cost to purchase, say, a new set. So I mean, definitely a good motorsports caliper, even the design. So tell us about, like, say, the design differences between the AP Racing versus the Brembos.
Yeah, so it's a very lightweight caliper. It doesn't have any external dust boots or anything like that. So if you do get the calipers hot, you're not going to have to go in there and rebuild the dust seals because they're all internal, they're all tucked away. And then, like, the finish of the caliper is designed. It's basically like kind of like an anodizing versus a powder coat. So as it gets hot, it's not going to discolor. It's a motorsports grade caliper. It is designed to go to the track and do work and get hot.
Absolutely, and we have definitely got those things hot for sure. Yeah, and I definitely notice. I mean, the anodizing is held up for the temperatures and stuff that we put it through. The amount of track days that we've gotten out of the set of pads has been more than double what I was getting out of my previous setup. So definitely a motorsports designed caliper for sure. So when you buy, say, these calipers, what do you get in a kit?
So sure, the kit inherently comes with the calipers, lines, and then a set of rotors. The rotors are dual drilled, so it'll fit on a WRX or an STI hub, and that also kind of means it'll grow with you. Basically, at this point, all of the calipers attached to a WRX and STI the same way. So basically, from 2002 to 2019, like if you had any car in that window, these calipers are bolt to it. So it can work on pretty much any platform. And then you do get, they don't come with a set of pads, but they'll give you a discounted rate on an initial set of pads. Typically, they like to work with the Ferodo.
Absolutely.
But and then going from there, you have pretty good options from Ferodo, Hawk, G-Lock. It's a pretty common pad shape. It is different than the Brembo, but it's pretty common. And again, because it's a motorsport caliper in like track compounds, there's a ton of choices.
Absolutely. And the weight savings is a big deal too, especially from the factory Brembos and the STI. To that, the size is the same outside rotor diameter as the STI brakes, so it's not a downsize. The caliper's more tidy, so it gives you definitely a broader range with wheel choices as well.
I will note it is a slightly wider caliper, but the wider pads, the caliper itself is a little bit wider. So I think in our measurements, it was about 3 millimeters of difference.
Okay.
3 millimeters wider than the Brembo.
Okay.
But yeah, generally, if your wheel clears the Brembo, it should clear these.
Absolutely. So so that's why we'll put a link in the description for where you can purchase them through Flat Irons, and we've got John as well as the rest of the Flat Irons team here you can talk to about about these brakes or even braking options, and even maybe pairing something up to work with the rear as well.
Yeah, and pad compounds too.
And pad compounds as well. I mean, we've ran everything from, and we sell everything here from an autocross compound up to your most hardcore endurance compound and everything in between. So definitely worth giving these guys a shout out, and yeah, stay tuned to see what's next.
Absolutely, stay tuned. Thanks.
Thanks.